Okay, guys, so I think it's really important for us to talk about free will and the fact that free will and like the idea that other people outside of you have free will or that anything outside of you has free will to create in your reality is in complete contradiction with the whole idea of manifesting. Okay, so I'm going to explain this in this video because I know that a lot of you guys experience, guilt or confusion when it comes to manifesting what you want, and especially confusion when it comes to the extent to which you create your reality. What are you able or allowed to do? And so we're going to talk about that. And literally, the idea is that circumstances don't matter at all. So it doesn't matter how stubborn that you think someone is. It doesn't matter if their parents don't like you. It doesn't matter if they live across the planet. It doesn't matter what they said or did or what you said or did. Literally, circumstances don't matter. And here's a tip for you guys. If you believe that your circumstance is especially bad or especially difficult, that is just showing you how convinced you are to the illusion and how attached you are to circumstances. So, in order to manifest and shift timelines, manifest your person, shift realities, you have to be able to detach from the fact that you're convinced by the illusion. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So, anyways, hey, I'm Jasmine with Manifest Fast with Jasmine, and you can call me Dr. Cupcake because what I know they don't teach in school. And on that note, make sure that you get a pen and paper out because this video is going to be pretty in depth and comprehensive, and I would like for you to really get something out of it. So, I know that when we're dealing with especially specific person situations, we just feel really um like like the cards are not in our hands, like it's not up to us, like it's up to someone else. But here's the thing. You either believe, know, and understand manifesting, or you don't. Manifesting and the fact that you create your own reality by virtue of your observation, by virtue of your perspective, is no longer a discussion that's up for debate. We don't have to worry or wonder about this or debate this anymore. This is proven scientifically on many, many, many different fronts that you do create your reality, and it's just the energetics of the thing. And so try not to get caught up because, like, I could understand, I could explain to you everything about like why that is and like the science and the metaphysics and the existential. I could explain everything. You could read every book out there. And there's plenty of people who have been studying for a very, very long time and have read all the documents and the books and the videos, and they still don't know how to apply it. The only way that you're going to be able to apply and implement this and actually embody this to get the results that you want is if you come out of mind, if you come out of identification with ego. Because the ego is not actually where your power is to create. Now, I'm not saying that, I mean, obviously, every person on the planet is manifesting an experience, they're manifesting something. But I'm talking about changing your experience drastically and deliberately. Okay. So the ego, which is that's your personality, that's the human suit part of you that you identify with. You give it a name and you give it attributes, and you think that you're stuck with that identity. But what we know in manifesting is that you can change your belief systems yourself, what you think and believe is real, and you can change your interpretation of your limitations. You can change your interpretation of your strengths. You can collapse time and you can change your reality. And it doesn't matter what is going on outside of you. If there was a degree to which something outside of you actually had power over you, then we would have nothing to talk about because manifesting wouldn't be a thing at all. The only time when something outside of you can override your own free will to create is when you deem it to be so. So if you believe that something outside of you has power over you, then that thing will have power over you. So if you say, oh, that's just the way it is, that's just reality, or of course it's not going to happen because blah, 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 like you have to understand and really you have to believe, really, really believe that when you change your thoughts, when you change your beliefs, when you challenge your limits, when you push the envelope, when you get outside the box of your current belief systems, that your reality will change. The best way for you to know and understand this is by looking back at the times in your life when you have actually changed your belief systems. And if you can't recall a time when you've done that, you're just going to have to get examples from other people. Okay. But there's nothing like when you really, really apply this and you actually do it, and then you see reality change. And that's why so many people are talking about this and teaching this to no end, because more and more people are actually seeing and experiencing this. And then there's more and more evidence on more and more like dimensions of reality to back this up. So you got to understand, just know and understand and believe. It doesn't matter what someone says, what they have done, what you have said, what you have done. It doesn't matter what you believed or who you were yesterday. It matters who you're choosing to be right now and what you're choosing to be right now. If you believe that things take time, they will take time. If you believe that things are hard, they will be hard. And if you believe that you can't change a person's mind or a situation, you won't be able to. If you believe that things are fixed and set in stone, then they will be fixed and set in stone. There are an infinite number of realities that you can attune yourself to and create and manifest for yourself. There are realities where people are living their fantasies out, and that is just the world that they live in. What would it take for you to be one of those people? Are you willing to give that your best shot to see what would happen, what does happen when you truly change and shift your beliefs and choose to believe in a reality that is moldable and changeable and flexible and fantastic and amazing and awesome, where your life is an emphatic explosion of synchronicities. And no matter what's going on, it's always working out for you. And where everything is happening in your favor and everything is here to help you all the time, no matter what. Right? So, okay. So, literally, the idea of other people having free will represents your belief in limitation. And it also represents your belief in illusion outside of yourself being real. So everything outside of you is a hologram of your consciousness. You have to know and understand that if you really want to be good at manifesting, if you really want to have no limits. And those are the people that I'm talking to. I'm talking to people who feel and sense, you have like some kind of inner knowing that there is more, that you can have more, that you can do more, that there's more out there for you, that there's more to life, that there's more to know. Okay? If that is you, then my content is for you. If you feel that you are meant to have and be and do more and get outside of the limitations that everyone else just accepts, that's what I'm talking about. What I have discovered and what I have learned along my way is that when you challenge your current limits, when you challenge your limits and get outside of the box of your current habit of thought and your current belief systems, you utilize your free will to create a reality that is just different. It's simply different and in accordance with whatever it is that you're getting on board with. In order to shift timelines, in order to quantum leap, in order to align with a new and different reality, you got to believe, know, and understand that everything outside of you is a hologram. And that means that nothing is fixed. It's not real in that sense. It's only as real as you deem it to be. This is not only a mental exercise. If it is only a mental exercise, you're not going to get very far because the evidence that you actually are shifting your belief is that you have a shift in your feeling experience. You're going to feel differently. Your frequency is going to shift. When you are identified with limited human ego, you are going to feel like you're boxed in, stressed, overstimulated, overworked. You're going to feel like you don't have choices, like you're between a rock and a hard place. You're going to feel heavier and more tense in your body. You're not going to be able to reach peaceful, serene, and loving and expansive, unlimited thoughts and ideas about yourself, other people, and about your future and about what you can do. So, if you want to know, are you believing in that circumstances are real? Because here's the thing: is people will say this all the time, and things like this. They'll say, "I know circumstances don't matter, but," and then they go into circumstances. No, knowing it to the degree to which you can recite it and repeat it back to me, that does not mean that you believe or know anything. That means that you've heard it and you can regurgitate it. If you know it, you will act on it. If you believe it, you will act on it. So if I tell you that, hey, if you take this coin, you're going to, and if you keep it with you for 3 days and do this and that, if I give you specific instructions and you really believe that that is going to work, you're going to follow through and you're going to do that because you believe in it. So if you are not taking action on something, if you're not implementing it, if you're not doing it, you don't actually fully believe it. So, how do you shift from knowing it mentally to fully believing it? Well, here is the easiest way to use your free will to make that shift. Have you ever heard of the idea that when you are aligned, things just happen automatically? The reason that happens that way is because your ego personality that you're identified with, that is not the you that actually manifests wondrous miracles in your life. That is not the God divine version of you that creates all of the awesome things that you want in your life. That is just an avatar that you're using to navigate 3D time and space reality. So, that avatar is located in the mind. And when you are thinking, when you are in the thinking mind, you are also occupying a dimension or space of reality that equals you believing in circumstances. So, it's like you're drinking the Kool-Aid when you're thinking. This is why if you spend a lot of time in your thought and your thinking mechanism, you're going to feel tired of doing that. You're going to feel like your thoughts are thinking you. You're going to feel like this stuff is hard, like life is hard, and life is going to get to you, and it's going to be difficult for you to control your thoughts. But you don't know that there's another place for you to exist besides in thought. But there is. You can literally just drop down into into a feeling space that is not thought. And when I say feeling, I am talking about a range of feeling or sensory experience that includes all range of positive emotion, not negative emotion, because negative emotion is a result of distortion that happens at the mental body level. So you want to allow your thoughts to simply dissipate and disappear as you detach from them, because this is commensurate with you detaching from physical, circumstantial, illusory reality. So you have to realize that the answer to you manifesting what you want is you're not going to find it here. You're not going to find it by thinking and being in your mental body. Even if you're able to get away with that for some time, being in your mental body all of the time is it's going to run you down. It's not definitely not fail safe, and it is not what refreshes you and reconnects you to your divine nature as a infinite manifester. It actually cuts you off because anytime that you're dealing with the mental body, dealing with circumstances and illusion and therefore limitation, right? It's like, well, this plus this equals this. But that's not the case when you exit the ego, when you exit the circumstantial world. Circumstances don't matter. If you really are willing to believe that, you will allow yourself to allow your thoughts to also not matter. You don't have to think about your person. You don't have to think about your situation. You don't have to think about what you're going to do or how you're going to fix it or how it's going to happen or what happened before. You don't have to think at all. Just allow yourself to drop your thoughts, let them dissolve. And this is commensurate. When you're doing this, it means you are dropping the importance that you're putting on the circumstantial world that limits you. The ego or limitation itself, whatever it is that is the limiter that we're experiencing in this universe, will try to get you to not drop it and not leave it alone by convincing you that it's very, very vitally important and you have to address it and deal with it. Well, one way to get around that is you definitely don't have to think about anything right now in this very moment. So, a time may come when you're dealing with something in 3D. Sure, that's going to happen. But you can drop it and give it no importance and begin that practice now in this moment, and now in this moment, and now in this moment. And you can continue practicing that in most of your moments. You can practice giving no credence to mind, thought, or circumstances or illusion. You can practice the state of being, of feeling and knowing and acting upon the fact that you know that these things aren't important, they're not limiting you, and they're just an illusion. They're not real, and they don't create in your reality. So when you allow yourself to dissipate thought and just drop into a feeling world, a world where you're navigating the world without any thought. This is where God's state is accessible. This is where you can access energy and frequency that will refresh you. This is where you can access infinite intelligence, realizations, good ideas, inspirations, and the bridge of events that will take you to your manifested goal, to your manifested end. In that sense, you are not the one, you ego, you that has a name, you that has a face, you that thinks, you that has a personality that you identify with, you that has a history that you identify with, you that has an age that you identify with. None of those things are real because they're impermanent, right? You are immortal, eternal, watcher. You are forever. You are indestructible. You are not going anywhere. So everything else that's going somewhere, it's temporary. It's not you. So when you allow yourself to navigate the world, not identified with ego, not identified with the stories of the circumstantial world, with the limitations of time and space. And with this idea that I don't have free will, other people do. I don't have free will. I can't do this. They have free will. They can. So I can't make it work because they have free will. Non-fucking sense. Nonsense. There's so many people who are manifesting. You're already manifesting them to do whatever it is that they're doing. You're feeling bad. You're thinking and feeling and believing in a certain way, and they are doing exactly in alignment with how you are feeling and perceiving the situation. You're literally agreeing with it in the sense that you're feeling into that situation and receiving it in the way that you're receiving it, vibrationally, frequentially. So you are frequentially aligned with it. What would make you not aligned with it is if they're doing whatever and you're like, oh yeah, you're so in the bag. You're so in my pocket. You're so going to be my husband. You have no idea. You're about to be hit by a ton of break. You don't even know you're not going to know what hit you. You are so mine. I'm not even worried about this at all. That's when you're going to be detached from the situation. That's when you're going to get what you want. That's when it's going to happen no matter what. That's when you collapse time because you're not worried about time because you're allowing yourself to have it now and you don't give a fuck. That's when you're in the feeling, the essence, the vibration, the state of it's done. I have it now. That's what it means to collapse time. That's what it means to time travel. You can travel to any moment in time and space that you want to. That is your free will to do so. You can do it in your consciousness, in your mind. Now, let me make a distinction here, because if you are trying to navigate and used to navigate using the ego mind is a limiter. When I say, yeah, you can travel to any space, any moment in time and space in your consciousness, you want to do this using your mindless feeling space that I'm talking about, because only that mindless feeling space can actually feel it real, can actually smell the smells and feel the sensations and see the visuals and have the full experience of what that vision of your end, that vision of your reality that you're occupying now is like. The mind can't do that. And if the mind does that, then it's still not going to be powerful in manifesting it, because you have to feel into it frequentially. The ego mind is not enough alone to manifest something great. You need a great energy to manifest a great shift. And that can only be found below the mind, beyond the mind, in your feeling that connects you, that is representation of your divinity, that is your manifestational currency. So a lot of people, if you're feeling depressed or bad or sad, or you're not used to feeling good, you won't know how to reach feelings or frequency or this place that I'm talking about. You won't know how to feel good. You won't know how to get yourself to feel good or tap into that. And that just means that you're used to navigating with your mind, with your ego, limited human mind. When you are doing that, you will be convinced that you're limited, that you don't have choices, and that there's no way out. As soon as you learn how to drop into this place that I'm talking about, you will feel and experience that you can venture to other places in frequency, in vibration. You will come to understand what it is to actually feel it real. It's not something you do in the mind, in the ego mind. It's something that you kind of do in your heart. And the beginning of feeling is very, very, very subtle. And that is something that will be difficult to understand if you are used to being toyed around with and bossed around by the loud, obnoxious, noisy ego mind. The ego mind is so loud, you can't, it's like, not only can you not miss it, you can't escape it. It is so loud and obnoxious. It does not shut up and leave you alone. So if you want to switch to feeling, which is so, so subtle, you're going to think that you're doing nothing. You're like, there's nothing there. But you have to give it enough time for you to get familiar so that you know what you're doing and what you're dealing with. I just want you guys to really, really know and understand that just because the ego mind, the human limited ego mind, cannot identify something, cannot comprehend something, and cannot feel it real or see how a thing can be done, it doesn't mean that that actually represents any limitation in reality. Being a manifester, being a time traveler, being, someone who knows how to quantum leap and shift timelines instantly, you know better. You know that the ego that is parading around as you is limited, and you know how to function outside of those limitations. That is what makes the difference between staying and living as a limited human in a body versus what you could call a time traveler who knows how to access any moment in time and space and feel it real, become it, embody it, and collapse it into your now and know that it's done. You get to decide what is real for you. If you decide that you're limited, you will be. For as long as you decide that you're limited, you will be. But let me tell you something. It's not as fun. It's a lot more fun to challenge your limits. So I'm going to tell you the one thing that it's like, if you do this one thing, you can manifest anything extremely fast. If you do this well enough, like the better that you do this, the more instantaneous that your manifestation will be. The better that you do this, the more that you're determined to familiarize yourself with obtaining a focus into an identity that allows you to do this, the more that you don't give up, the more that you transcend your limitations by not allowing them to have the final say, the better that you will be at shifting timelines. I want you to identify yourself not as a person who's trying to learn manifesting. I want you to identify yourself as a time traveler, as someone who knows how to shift timelines at will. I want you to identify yourself as what I call a cosmic badass. Okay? Because you can choose to be that. You can choose to be human and limited and all the things that you've known yourself to be, or you can choose to identify yourself as something so much more. You can choose to discover, what more can I be? What more can I be? What more can I be? What more can I do? And it doesn't matter what we're dealing with here. It doesn't matter if it's person, if it's money. It doesn't matter if you want to change everything in your reality, change your appearance. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you choose to know these things and stick with them, no matter what anybody outside of you is saying. Because guess what? It's all a hologram. It's all a test. And listening to people outside of you is not going to make you happier or a better person or a better manifester. When you start caring about what people think to your own detriment, you're going to experience your own detriment. So here's the one thing that you need to do. You have to identify, once you identify the vibration of what you want, which that in itself can take practice. And you know what? You should always allow yourself to work with and mold with the frequency and the vibration of your choosing. I'll always allow it to develop and evolve and grow. Don't just try to return to the same vibration without allowing it to expand. Always allow for evolution and expansion. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself going downhill because you're not allowing a normal evolution to occur. But once you figure out how to do this, all you have to do is return to the vibration, to the frequency that represents what you want. No matter who's talking, no matter what you see, no matter what the illusion is trying to convince you, no matter what your ego limited human mind is trying to convince you, no matter what, you return to the frequency over and over and over and over and over and over. So returning to that frequency is what I'm talking about here. It's literally learning how to drop out of mind and out of the circumstantial reality and into your power, which is in a feeling realm that transcends time and space. This feeling realm is where you can access any reality, make good contact with it, and return to it and collapse time. And that all is based on your own free will. You have your own free will to decide that this shit can't work for you for whatever reason. And you have your own free will to say, I am bound and determined that till the day I die, I'm going to figure out how to pursue this. I'm going to give it my very best. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to be honest with myself, and I'm going to be this because I already am this. I was born for this. And sometimes that's exactly what it takes. It takes every last bit of grit and determination that you have got. Not that it has to. But when you're dealing with an old self, an old identity that is disempowered, that identity is going to have to die. And it's not always pleasant because it's dramatic. Like the identities are so freaking dramatic. They're like, oh my God, like, it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's the beginning of something new. But it's the end of that limited identity. And you get to decide all along the way how normal that you're going to be, or how extra that you're going to be, how extra sensory that you're going to be, how extra cosmic badass that you're going to be, how far you're going to take this. I got to tell you, from my own experience, the farther that I have taken this, the farther that I have discovered that it can be taken. And at this point, I know that you really can take it as far as you are willing to take it. There are no limits here. And again, just because your limited ego human mind can't comprehend what the more is, it doesn't mean that it is not there. All we know is that we live in an infinite universe and that we create our own reality and that you have free will. Nobody outside of you has that free will, can decide or create for you. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going live because I'm starting Cosmic Badass. Cosmic Badass is the identity archetype that I'm bringing forth for April, who is a timeline shifter. This identity knows how to timeline shift at will. And the idea that I have here is to teach you guys how to occupy this identity and how to shift timelines at will. Give me a month. Work with me for a month on this. Do this for yourself. Because this is something that if you're manifesting, if you're looking into manifesting, if you're interested in manifesting, this is where it's at. This is what you've been looking for. This is what you want. You want to be able to do it easy, fast, and at will. And that's what I got. So those links are going to be in the description below. Hey, if you like this video, make sure that you click the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. in Cosmic Badass. See ya.